It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Am I telling the time, or am I about to shoot JP with my watch? We all know that James Bond has a history of some awesome gadgets. Probably one of the best parts about the James Bond franchise and the books. And with the release of the latest, No Time to Die, we've got Grant Hines here to tell us a little bit more about some of those favorite and standout and possibly quirkiest Bond gadgets over the years. JP Sebastian is here to nod his head like that in affirmation.
I'm just here to shed tears laughing at
because
the inanity.
Each one is
gadgets.
contextualized by a different Bond character. So we're going to delve into some of those amazing characters.
Yeah, so look, James Bond, okay, I get it's a cool series.
I keep thinking you're going to shoot me with your watch. Please, just stop.
Look, we've got tech today that is way more advanced than the tech of these films. But every time, they're just so absurd. So I went to do some research into this, and I've never in my life seen the most ridiculous gadgets. I don't know how they passed the writer's approval.
But it's almost like the further back you go, the more crazy they get.
I'll remind you that the further you go into the 60s, the more drug-addled people got as well. It was very psychedelic.
Hey, they drank, they did whatever they had to do to get through the 60s and 70s. Buddy, where did we begin?
So the first one is in The World Is Not Enough. So that wasn't even that long ago. That was like 1999.
Thanks for saying that. That was just the other day.
This is, you know, Y2K, you know, the whole vibe. But there was a flamethrower bagpipe in the film.
Naturally.
Absolutely. Perfectly convenient. Why not?
Like, I mean, when is the opportunity for you to take a bagpipe?
I don't know, like...
Where's he going? Is he going to skydive on top of the building?
Maybe that's a nod to...
But carry a bagpipe?
The history of Sean Connery, who is himself one of the most famous Scots.
I'm kind of concerned about, like, how much flammable product you wear in your hair as James Bond. And whether, like, do you bend at the right note? Or do you, like, struggle with the pipes or something like that? There are lots of questions I have about how would you employ that?
I don't even know how that passed. But the second thing that I read is from Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Oh, no, yep.
And it's a combination safecracker photocopy machine. So
of course.
I don't know how those things go together, but in the scene in the film, he cracks a safe and takes some like lewd magazines out and then photocopies them.
As one does.
So that was the most valuable thing. The most valuable thing in that safe.
Had a photocopier been released in 1969, was that a thing?
Well, why look at me? This is
Come on, you're the tome of all.
No, but
all
I'm very impressed that, you know, given his proclivity for lewd magazines, he invented the internet in a way. I think in that single gadget.
Firstly,
he invented the meme and he invented the internet. Yeah.
He's literally working for the government, right? He's working for MI5.
Using taxpayer money.
Taxpayer money.
To look at cleavage.
I was like,
grow up, James.
Like, what was he thinking? The next one is just like absolutely like also like I had to put it in because even JP and I were talking about it. Like we couldn't work out how this would be implemented. But a guillotine tea tray saw.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, like,
no, I'm all in now. You have to try and argue the no point on that because the Queen loves tea and Bond loves explosions. So the perfect marriage of.
And don't just stab
you
someone.
just said 3 words that we just swallowed. What is a guillotine tea tray?
Yeah, okay.
Chop their head off with the...
Yeah, exactly. You invite a guest over for tea, I guess, because that's what you do as Bond. And then you put your tea tray saw on the table, and then it will shoot like a guillotine saw across the table.
Boom.
Yeah, that's like the demo.
That mannequin.
So JP was telling us a little earlier. I was like,
two things that need to be taken account of there. First of all, the tea stays on the tray, which is quite impressive. Okay, both cups of the tea, and it's a full decapitation. There's no like half measures there.
Poison in the tea
that
as well.
head
It just falls down the replacement
why not
hole.
just poison him with the tea?
Why not bring a gun?
Just
you
smash
have a
the
Walter
tea thing over there.
PPK.
No, we want the full decapitation. I love it. 1963, The Spy Who Loved Me, guillotine, tea tray saw.
Marvelous.
Now we want fresh breath, but we also want to blow up someone.
This is wild. There is fresh breath.
But we also want to blow up.
It's in License to Kill. James Bond gets something called Dentonite toothpaste, and there's the ad for it. But it's like detonate toothpaste, dentonite.
I know it's early in the morning, man.
And the whole thing is that it's like obviously it's explosive toothpaste, like C4 putty. But like I mean,
can I set the scene for you just quickly? So you go to the big bad guy's evil island, and one of his henchmen frisk you. They go, Oh, don't worry, it's only toothpaste.
Yeah.
He's wearing a tuxedo and he brought like a man-sized tube of toothpaste.
But back then, they
How
probably
is that
didn't
okay
have travel.
anyway?
They didn't have travel sizes back then. You had to,
Yeah.
or just
We used to put our little clupper cheese in the trunk.
yeah, exactly. You would decant it.
Blow off an ankle or something.
Now,
like that.
Timothy Dalton was actually one of my favorite James Bonds. He
Oh,
just
yeah?
had a vibe about him. Take me back to 1987, as only the 80s can do, and a ghetto blaster. That's an 80s thing.
Yeah, so this happened. He never used it in the battlefield. I would have loved to have seen this, but he takes a ghetto blaster. So
Used
it's
it on a
basically the
dance floor.
80s version of a JBL speaker, children, and it had a rocket launcher in it.
Of
A rocket
course.
launcher ghetto blaster.
Say the name again. It's a ghetto blaster.
Yeah.
And look at it. Like, firstly, where are you packing the rockets? Does it still play music?
May I just, as a person of what? as a person of brownness, say I don't know how you're sneaking James Bond around. What is he wearing? what is Lily White James Bond wearing with the ghetto blaster to help him blend?
Knee pads. Using knee pads.
Hey, kids. Hey, cool kids.
And he was ready to throw down. That was a dance battle that James Bond won for sure.
No.
Bizarre, yes, they are. Do we love them? We do, because they are part of the James Bond mystery and narrative. We absolutely love it. Some of the gadgets, some of the Bond men that have grabbed our attention over the years. I'm going to see if I can dart Jamie with my watch now as we go into those news headlines.